I'm Andrew Dillin from the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. Alzheimer's hits most of the population in their late 60s, 70s, and their 80s. And in fact, if you look at all 85-year-olds, 50% of all 85-year-olds have dementia in one form or another. So that's a very scary statistic. Alzheimer's is thought to be a timed event that eventually along your lifespan, you're eventually going to get Alzheimer's disease, and it's a stochastic process of whether or not you're going to get it or not. And we asked a simple question of what role does aging play? And instead of going and studying the biology of the disease, we asked, could we actually change the aging process to change the onset of the disease? And if Alzheimer's were truly just a stochastic event that happened, then the animals that had an aging profile change would get it at the same rate as animals that didn't have the aging profile. And that's not what we found. We found that if we actually made animals live longer, they delayed their onset of Alzheimer's disease. There's been a lot of work for the last 40 years of trying to understand the basic biology of aging and trying to determine actually why we age and how we age. And it's been fundamental biology looking in model organisms going from yeast to worms to flies to mice. And so far there's been one genetic pathway that's been conserved all the way from worms to flies to mice and now to humans to regulate the aging process, and that's the insulin signaling pathway. And that's the same pathway that we perturbed in our study that delayed the onset of an age-related disease. It's important from that regard is that the basic biology of aging has now given us insight into one of the most detrimental diseases of our older years. So that's the first reason why it was important. The second reason is we actually got some mechanism out of how Alzheimer's disease actually onsets and how the body tries to deal with it. And in the study what we found is that they deal with it by making large plaques or aggregates that we think are actually protective. Whereas before we always thought those were the causative agents of Alzheimer's, this study clearly shows that the plaques are actually protective. And so this told us that there's something inherent about being youthful that keeps you from getting Alzheimer's disease. So now it gives us a new therapeutic window to go in and see if there's ways that we can actually change the aging process to delay the onset of age-onset diseases.